This is Dabu7, and as if things were not already bad enough in terms of inflation and the dollar is completely getting pounded out in terms of its buying power, well, it looks like it's about to get worse, and this is a big time red alert. This goes for everyone around the planet that's using US dollars. Because for all of our lives up to this point, the world reserve currency has been the United States dollar, and it's been so primarily because of a couple things. But number one, its petro status, that it's tied in to being backed by Saudi Arabia's oil. The other argument is that the dollar is backed by the full force of the U.S. military, which is backed by the U.S. Treasury, which is backed by the Federal Reserve. In other words, the dollar is backed by the dollar. It's a very naive position to have, especially when it's not backed by gold. And some would think, well, isn't the US dollar their golden goose? They're able to just keep making all this wealth and just keep doing it and never have to answer to nobody. Well, no, it's not. If you're short-sighted and you don't know the end game, maybe that's where you get caught up. But when you know where they're taking this and you know the end game, you know that this is a stepping stone toward the CBDC in a one world currency or network that tracks all currencies. Okay, and that is a beast blockchain system, the same one that I've been warning you about since 2017. We are on the doorstep of entering it, and now Saudi Arabia has just signaled the end of the dollar as you know it, because they are now moving away from trading in just the United States dollar. This is going to dissolve the dollar, weaken it to where other currencies that are in the IMF basket, like China, is going to strengthen, especially when they start to back their currency by gold. In the offing, there's going to be a major move on precious metals. You watch and you see. And all the people that sat there twiddling their thumbs are going to wish that they had something that they could trade with in the underground when their dollars are worthless. And all the people that say, oh, you can't eat gold and silver, well, no crap. But you can use it to trade for other goods in the underground, and that's a for sure thing. And people better get with it, because this year of 2023 may be the year they pull the rug out from underneath everyone. And I mean everyone. All warlords, all kingpins, all kings, queens, you name it. All the rich people out there that are rich off of US dollars are about to get a rude awakening. So I hope you have a plan when this whole conversion goes down, because what they're going to try to do is usher the masses toward a CBDC, which is going to be the end of your privacy forever. You can't let that happen, America. Of course, you can't let a lot of things happen, but everyone just sits on their tail and lets it happen. So this is coming like hell in a handbasket, and it's coming quick, and it could all start to unravel. Well, it already is right now. So for those that have been sleeping on it, get ready. 2023 is about to bring a whole lot of interesting things. And this is one of them. Join me on the live stream where I've got time to break.
It is going to happen because it's Bible prophecy, man. Okay? But anyway, I want to say Shalom, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect, noise in his gospel abroad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. It's the Aki of Mahaloya, coming back with another lesson through the Spirit. Lord's will is edifying. Interesting news, 2023, the year, the hopeful year of all the prophecies coming to pass. So far, it's been an eventful year as far as the war in Ukraine and the talking of the CBDC systems or the UBI or the MOTB systems being established. I have a couple of articles here. May just go through one for the most part, but this one stood out. It says, men who nailed 20 crash warns of rare event in 2023. Okay, it says a Wall Street professor recently issued a public message at a Harvard club in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It says there's a rare event coming to America in 2023. Okay, and you can assume that this is like one of those economists when they kind of understand the trends in the markets. They have these seminars, and a lot of them are juiced in because, the elites, they pretty much tell what they're going to do before they do it, So it's not like they're really predicting it, but it's like they know. Okay, it's just a matter of time before it happens. But even with Double Seven's video, he had another video too I wanted to go into. Actually, last week I didn't get a chance to do it, but it says cashless beast system is unfolding on around us, and that may be the next lesson because hey, even he's saying the cashless beast system, the MOTB. So what the fuck is wrong with you other niggas out there that can't seem to get this prophecy right? And to show you how the Most High is putting you in a trick bag, because this is the prophecy that determines you get salvation or not. If you're calling yourself an Israelite, but yet you guys want to play with it. That's why the Lord said judgment must start at his house first. But that's for another video. But anyway, it says the dollar collapse is now in motion. Saudi Arabia signals the end of the petrol status. That's done. Okay, we know that United States dollar is being backed by the military. Okay, you notice whatever country that didn't want to deal with the dollar, they was often invaded, and they will put to flight. Like look at Umar Gaddafi. You know, look at Saddam Hussein. You know, these just particular men that bucked up against the Western infrastructure, and what happened to them? They became null and void, basically wiped out. Okay, because Gaddafi, he was basically in the process of using his own currency, taking things back to a gold standard, and all of a sudden now he's invaded. You see what I'm saying? So the U.S. dollar is backed by the military. Yeah, petrol, but see, Saudi Arabia is pretty much cutting the plug with the Western allies, so to speak. Okay, I believe they want to get over to BRICS, the BRICS nation, which is Brazil, Russia, I think it's India, China, and South America, if I'm not mistaken. I always seem to get that acronym for BRICS mixed up, so let me double check it again. BRICS nation. BRICS nations. All right, I always seem to get it mixed up. But Brazil, India, South Africa, not South America, Slovakia, South Africa, China, Russia. Okay, and I believe Saudi Arabia is petitioning to be part of that conglomerate, because you notice that the Chinese and the Russians, their currency is being backed by gold, you know, so they can afford to pop smoke. But the United States, their dollar is not being backed by anything, okay, but by the military. And once upon a time, they called it the petrodollar to hide the fact that it's being backed by the military. Because what happens if you ain't using the U.S. dollar, what happens is they set up puppet leaders, they invade you, and they set up central banks, you know, and then, you know, these nations, they become part of the IMF, and then before you know it, they're dealing with the dollar, and then democracy goes forth. But it says the decline of the currency's world reserve status is often a long process rife with denials. It says there are numerous economic experts out there that have been dismissing any and all warnings of dollar collapse for years. It says they just don't get it, or they don't want to get it. But the idea of U.S. currency could ever be dethroned as a de facto global trade mechanism is impossible in their minds, right? Because the scriptures say that they think their houses should continue forever. So in their mindset, you know, they say cash is king, okay? Because with cash, you can pretty much, cash rules the world. You can do anything you want. With money, you can pay off the right people, bribe the right people, you know, get whatever you want with cash. But see, now they're getting ready to do away with that system and bring in this mark of the beast, this MOTB system, okay, which is going to require everybody to get the C hip. But before then, you know, you're going to have the stabilization of these nations. You're going to have big job losses, okay, like Dabu was going into. A lot of people getting ready to lose their wealth. You know, why? Because, A, they put their faith in a currency that have no value to it. Like the Lord said, woe to them that trust in uncertain riches. The U.S. dollars are uncertain rich, or uncertain riches. Okay, like the scriptures go into gold and silver, they should cast their gold and silver in the streets, and it should not be able to save them in the day of the Lord's wrath. All right, but it says one of the key pillars keeping a dollar in place as the world reserve is the petrol status, and this factor is often held up as a reason why the greenback cannot fail. It says the other argument is that the dollar is backed by the full force of the U.S. military, which is true. It says that the U.S. military is backed by the U.S. Treasury and the Federal Reserve. So in other words, the dollar is backed by the dollar in a very circular and naive position. It says these sentiments are not only persuasive or pervasive among mainstream economists, but they're also all over the place within alternative media. So he said, I suspect the main hang-up for the liberty movement analysis is the notion that the globalist establishment will ever allow the dollar or the U.S. economy to fail. It says, isn't the dollar system their golden goose? And no, that's not true. Okay, because this place was set up to fail. It was set up to fail. Okay, the U.S. dollar was never meant to be the top world currency status as far as the greenback is concerned. That's why back in the 70s, Nixon took it off the gold standard, man. Okay, and basically it became the petrodollar. Okay, once that happened, you already knew that the dollar was going to collapse eventually. All right, but it says here, the answer is no. It is not their golden goose, but the dollar just another stepping stone towards their goal of a one world economy as a one world currency. It says they have killed the world's reserve status of other currencies in the past. Why wouldn't they do the same to the dollar? Okay, and that's absolutely right, because these elites, they're basically trying to play the most high behind the scenes. All right, so this is the book of Ecclesiastes 12, and I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, when the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Okay, so the scriptures instruct us to seek Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai while we're younger. Okay, in the days of thy youth. Okay, don't wait till you get older, then you want to serve the Lord, like those women in church, they be on the car carousel their whole life, and then all of a sudden, Sister Mabel is a saint now, but she was just riding the car carousel years ago. But it says, while the sun or light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. But in a day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. You're optimists. Okay, because like he said in this article, he said that people didn't expect the U.S. dollar to decline. And if you talk to average Jake that's not into the economy and money and the stock markets and so forth, like Biden talking about GDP then grew 2.9%. Okay, it grew, but you're still losing. It grew by 3 points, but you're still taking a 34 to 35% loss in gross domestic product. So you're not growing as fast as you're declining. So you're not even improving. It's a done deal. But it says globalist white papers and essays. It says an essay specifically outlined the need for a diminished role of the U.S. currency, as well as the decline of the American economy in order to make way for the central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, which that's going to be the system through the spirit that the MOTV system will be set up under. And that's the whole point of these new digital currencies, because they want to put the C-hip in everybody. They got it already ready. They're just waiting on the perfect crisis. But it says the new global currency system controlled by the IMF. He says, I warned about this years ago, and my position had always been that the derailment of the dollar would likely start with the end of its petro status. But in 2017, he said he published an article titled Saudi coup signals war in the New World Order reset. He said, and I noted at the time that sudden power shift over to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman indicated a change in the Saudi Arabia's relationship to the U.S. And this is basically what he wrote up in there. All right. But this is a pretty long article. I don't think I'm going to read all of it. But just some, just some particular points that you brothers and you few sisters out there can watch. Expect this dollar collapse. Expect the economy to go bad. Expect a lot of layoffs, too, this year. All right, because they're talking about within the first quarter of this year, which started last year, by the way. It's a little weird how their quarters are set up. They said you're going to have millions of people that's going to be laid off. Now, that's a wait-and-see approach. But regardless of it, people are going to start getting laid off from these jobs. Okay, shit is going to hell. And yeah, you got Esau that's making quote-unquote plans for the future. Like these corporations. See, the supervisory of those particular corporations, they're short-sighted. Because if they understood the trends on how the global markets are operating, they will understand that they don't have a 10-year plan. In 10 years, half the companies we see ain't going to be around. Okay, you're going to have your big box stores like Walmart, maybe Target, your chain restaurants like in Demolition Man. Every fucking restaurant was Taco Bell. That shows you that all those fast food chains and so forth, those big corporate chains, they took out the mom and pop businesses. They survived the wars, the restaurant wars, so to speak. So like Amazon is putting a lot of companies out of business. You don't have Sears anymore. Okay, you don't have Payless. Kmart is pretty much gone. JCPenney's is shutting down. All these particular stores, man, they're shutting down. Why? Because you have the likeness of Amazon. That's a chain. There's going to be a chain of stores. That's why they have shit called Amazon and Go. Amazon Plus, Amazon Smart. Okay, and it's all prophetic through the scriptures. And it says, and when the doors be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low, that's your work situation. Okay, in order for them to get the system up and running, they got to totally collapse the system so the new world order can come in, like we just read in the article. It says, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he should rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the doors of music shall be brought low. Okay, now this music is trash. Rappers are getting smoked every goddamn day. All right, so the scriptures are playing out right before us. And it says also, when they should be afraid that of which is high, and fear should be in the way, and the almond tree should flourish, and the grasshopper should be a burden, then the desire should fail, because man goeth alone to his homes, and mourners go about in the streets, right? Because they're not going to have a situation. Okay, shit is going to be shut down. These stores, they're not going to have the operating power that they once had. And hey, man, I can't wait. I can't wait till the Most High really put the hammer down on this place, because you people are proud as hell, man. You people are proud, man. Your actions, it's vexing being around a bunch of wickedness, man. All right. So anyway, going back here, it says the importance of the Saudi announcement cannot be overstated, and this is the beginning of the end of the dollar. But the dollar's world reserve status is largely dependent on its petrol status, but without one, you cannot have the other. So it says this is almost the exact same dynamic that led to the implosion of the British sterling decades ago as the global petrol currency, which resulted in the rise of the dollar take its place. But it says this time, though, it will not be a single foreign currency that takes the world of the world reserve, but it would be a basket currency system controlled by the IMF called special drawing rights. I have to look that up, along with the single global digital currency. It says this is yet to be named, but now is under development. So they show you right there, man. They coming with this new system. They're going to crash this system, and they're going to come with the new system. All right. That's why you're going to have this right here, the book of Isaiah 19. And I'm going to start at verses 2. It says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, because you're going to have riots in the streets. Okay. Skirmishes here, corporate battles. Okay. Like it was a movie called Belcourt Spirit, man. The movie was crazy as hell, but basically they locked everybody inside this skyscraper, man, that they was working in, and everybody turned into enemies, man. They had to kill one another, okay, in order to try to save their life. He said, look, if y'all don't kill 10 people in the next hour, we're going to kill 40 of you. So what do you think people are going to do when it comes down to Reservoir Dogs? People are going to start to turn on one another for the one of all things. It says the Egyptians should fight against the Egyptians, everyone against his brother, everyone against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. Okay, like the scriptures say, one ram should fight against the next. We're going to see that. And the spirit of Egypt should fell in the midst thereof. Okay, because, hey, the birth of this place, it's not what it was. Okay, like this Christmas season, it wasn't that cracking like it used to be. I didn't see half the Christmas lights that I used to see coming up, like when we were younger and stuff like that. What we'll do, we'll usually drive around and look at the Christmas lights and stuff like that. Of course, it's folly, but now when you drive around just by default, people are barely decorating their homes because they don't have that jolly, jolly spirit, because the spirit of Egypt is felling. It says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fell in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers, and to them which have familiar spirits, and to the wizards, man. Okay, they're going to consult witches. They're going to consult these governors. They're going to, how people, when shit fails, they want to write letters to the mayors. We'll have people lined up outside of City Hall once these cities start to collapse. We need to do something about the collapsing economy. I ain't had running water in a week. I ain't have operable gas, X, Y, and Z. My trash ain't been picked up in 6 months. People are going to get pissed off, and they're going to start to ask questions, and they're going to turn on one another, man. Okay, that's why we said the New World Order would be brought in by bloodshed. For those of you that don't believe us, just wait and see. All right. And the Egyptians I will give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, says the Lord of hosts. And the water shall fail from the sea, and the river should be wasted and dried up, man. Because, hey, like, if you look at the Missouri River and parts of that shit look shallow. Like, I drive over a bridge every morning to get to work, and I got to cross the Missouri River Bridge. And every time I look at it, it literally looks like it's drying up, okay? Especially like the last couple of weeks, that shit looked like they had to make certain dams just to keep the water flow at a certain level because it's that low. Okay, now I think the last bit of rain and snow we had out here, that got it back to some level, but regardless of it, it's drying up. Like they say, parts of the Mississippi down south, I believe you can walk dead through the goddamn Mississippi River, man. What was once the river, because the Lord is drawing up the waters here, and that's spiritual too. Okay, because hey, these people they're dehydrated. They have no spiritual discernment, and the Most High is gonna take us off the streets in due time when this whole ordeal goes down. All right, and it says, and they should turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of the fence should be empty and dried up, and the reeds and the flags shall wither, man. You know, like think about a derelict, like a derelict palace or some shit. Like, you notice on those old post-apocalyptic movies, you always got the destruction of the city. You got one crummy ass flag that's still waving, but it's derelict. So it's going to be in Babylon, man. It's not going to take that long for it to look like The Last of Us, especially when they get to blowing bridges and earthquakes and, you know, wars in the cities, man. You can literally turn this city inside out within a month or two, especially when nobody's tilling the earth or anything like that. No public works officials are out. This city will really look like straight up the end world type shit within the 2 to 3, maybe 4, 5, 6 months. It's going to look like these cities are straight up ready to decay. And you're going to see it. Okay, you're going to see the real infrastructure and the state of this place. And it says here, and the papers by reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall be withered and driven away and be no more. And the fisher shall also mourn, and all they cast their anger into the brooks shall lament, and they that spread nets upon the water shall languish, right? Because, hey, your market situations, okay, the fish are dying, the waters are drying up, inflation is at a damn near all-time high. Like, literally, eggs is $6, man. And that's just for a basic carton of eggs. That's never been heard of. And also, another video on that page, he went into who's burning down all the chicken factories. You know, they're talking about the bird flu, this and that, all of a sudden the price of eggs. That's bullshit, man. They're doing that by design. And it says that moreover, they that work in fine flax, you know, like knitting, garment factories and so forth. It says, and they weave networks should be confounded, and they should be broken into pieces thereof that make sluices and ponds for fish. Okay, so that's the point. The Lord is breaking down this monetary system. All right, and sooner than later it's going to come to a full crash because, like I said, they want to open up the new system. They want to bring in a new system. You see, and it says here, the Lord have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. They have caused Egypt to earn every work thereof as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither should there be any work for Egypt, which the head nor tail nor branch or rush may do. Okay, because like we said, gonna have a lot of layoffs, man. A lot of people gonna lose their careers. A lot of people gonna lose their wealth once this switching over of currencies come into fruition. And it says in that day, Egypt should be likened to women, and it should be afraid and fear because the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh up over it, man. All right, so yeah, man, that's pretty much it at this point. I mean, this is a good article. I could read the whole thing. Matter of fact, I'll read this last paragraph and I'll shut it down. It says, but the consequences of the loss of the reserve status will be devastating to the U.S. economy. And we're reading that in the scriptures. It said it is the only glue holding our system together, and the ability to defer inflation by exporting it overseas is a superpower only the U.S. enjoys. It says, the Fed can print money perpetually if it wants to in order to fund the government or prop up U.S. markets, right? Because it's all controlled. It says as long as the foreign central banks and corporate banks are willing to absorb the dollars as tools for global trade. But eventually they're going to stop doing a lot of that money that's abroad is going to come right back over here. And that's the reason why inflation is all-time high, because people are turning their back on the dollar. And when Saudi Arabia fully cuts ties with this place, shit, you can kiss paying $3 for gas. You kiss that shit goodbye. That shit going to go up to like $10, $15 probably. All right. And I'm just speaking when I say that, but it's going to get pretty high. As we showed you right after the holiday season, that shit jumped up every day. All right. So average now in Missouri is like $3.20, something like that. But it says, I lost my place. Yep. It says, if the dollar is no longer the primary international trade mechanism, the trillions upon trillions of dollars the Fed has created from thin air over the years will all come flooding back to the U.S., through various avenues, and hyperinflation or hyperstagflation will be the result. Okay. Hey, Revelation 6. Matter of fact, Revelation, what is that? The 6th chapter, man, about the black horse, the famine. Okay. About that penny. Okay. That's going to be the situation here in a little bit. And I'm betting my best dollar on it, because this is the Bible prophecy, man. And hey, Yahweh Shai said he does nothing but he revealeth his secrets unto the servants, the prophets. All right. One more precept. Healed Babylon. That's in Jeremiah 51:9 or 50:9, I think. 51:8. Yep. Jeremiah 51, and I'm gonna start at 8. It says here, Babylon has suddenly fallen and destroyed, and howl for her and take balm for our pain. If so be she may be healed. Okay. And they just said in the article that once all the dollars come back here, as we just said, shit is gonna go up higher. Like right now, we're just in inflation. This is not even hyperinflation yet. That's the crazy part. And it says, and we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. So forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country. For our judgments reaching into heaven, and it is lifted up even to the skies, man. It says, the Lord have brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of Yahweh our power. And this is the work of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, so with that, all praises and glory and honor is due to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And with that, shalom and above.